Okay, guys, so to talk about multiplying rational expressions, first we have to go back and look at multiplying fractions and just review what we did there. Okay, so the first thing we do is we can cross cancel, okay, because 3 goes into both of those. 3 goes into 3 one time here, 3 goes into 9 3 times here. So then with fractions, we just multiply across. So 1 times -2 is -2. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So your answer is -2 over 15. Okay, so you're essentially going to do the same thing when you multiply rational expressions containing variables, okay? So, first, one reason I liked this with your notes, it has it listed out. 1, you factor all numerators and denominators completely. So you're going to factor it out first. Divide out your common factors, then multiply everything across just like we did in the regular fraction. Okay, so for example 2, the first thing you are going to do is cross cancel. Just like we did up here with the 3 and the 9, we can do that down here in example 2. So let's just start with your 3x squared and your 3x. Your 3's will cancel out and give you 1, right? Because 3 goes into both of those one time. And then with your x squared and your x, your square cancels out and leaves you with an x, and this x is going to cancel, okay? Because if you had x squared and then x, that's like having x times x. So one of these x's is going to cancel out, leaving you with an x in the top, just like it did, okay? Then we're going to cross cancel the other way. So going this way, this is going to give you 1, this is going to give you 2. This y cancels out completely, and this one changes to y squared. Okay, so that is canceling everything out. So from there, we are going to multiply across. So we have 1x times 2y squared. And so that is going to give you 2x y squared. Okay, and then on the bottom, everything canceled out, and we were just left with 1's. So over 1, which when you simplify that, is 2xy squared. Okay, so for number 3, we have x minus 5 times, and then 7 over x to the third minus 5x squared. So we're going to think about x minus 5 being like a whole number. What did we do with the whole number when we had to multiply it by a fraction? We put it over 1, right? So we're going to say x minus 5 over 1 times, and then we have 7 over x to the third minus 5x squared. Okay, from there, remember the first thing we had to do was factor everything completely in our step-by-step rules on your notes, okay? So, everything is factored except for this denominator. So, we are going to factor that out, okay? And that's going to give us, we can factor out x squared because we have x to the third minus 5x squared, and that all has x squared in common. So it's going to be times x minus 5. Okay? What do you notice about that? Can we cross cancel anything? So this is gone now, and we're just looking at what we factor. We can cross cancel out that x minus 5. So this is going to cancel. This is going to cancel. So we're left with 1 over 1 times 7 over x squared. So 1 over 1 is just 1 times 7 over x squared is just 7 over x squared because we cannot simplify that anymore. All right, so for this one, we're going to start out by factoring everything completely, right? So we have x plus 2 squared, which just means x plus 2 times x plus 2, right? So x plus 2 times x plus 2 here. The bottom just stays 6x squared because we can't factor it anymore. And then times 3x over, so it's over x squared minus 4, right? So x squared minus 4 is difference of squares. So it can be factored into x plus 2 and x minus 2. Okay, so from there, we cross cancel. So once we factor out everything, then we cross cancel. We follow the same procedure every single time. So when we cross cancel, we have this this x plus 2 and an x plus 2 that can cancel out. Now we also have the 6x squared and the 3x that can cancel. So this 6 would cancel and give us 2. This x squared would cancel and just leave us with an x. And over here, the 3x would cancel out and give us 1. And the x would cancel out 2 and give us 1. So the reason these two canceled, the 6 and the 3 can go into 3 one time. 3 can go into 6 2 times. And then the x's as well. So then we just multiply across. Okay, so x plus 2 times 1 is just x plus 2 over 2x times x minus 2 would just be written exactly like this, and we keep it factored out, so that would be your answer. Okay, so look at example 5. This one looks a lot more challenging, but it's really not bad. First off, you should notice that when you're looking at the cross canceling, these two are going to cancel out. So that's going to give you 1 there. So that will make it so much easier. But we still have to factor right here. So remember, first step is always to factor. So before I jump the gun on crossing things out, I'm going to rewrite this over here. And then go ahead and factor out the 4. And go ahead and finish writing my problem. Okay, so I factored out my 4 here, and we're super close to canceling next, but we can't because it's 1 minus 2x instead of 2x minus 1. But what we can do is factor out that negative 1 to make it work to where we can cancel. So what I'm talking about is, let me rewrite this, 3x plus 2 over 2x minus 1 times 4 times negative 1 times 2x minus 1 over 3x plus 2. So I want to talk about what I did in this step right here for a minute. Okay, so what we had was 1 minus 2x right here. By factoring out that negative 1, when we distributed that, it would give us what we had originally. So it's equal and the same, so we can make that work. That would make it a plus. Y'all see what I'm talking about if you distributed that? But it also works to where we can cancel out here. And then we already talked about previously, we can cancel out 3x plus 2. That gives us 1 here. That gives us 1 here. So really our answer, all we're left with, is 4 times negative 1, which is negative 4 over 1. So negative 4 is your answer. Example 6, I'm not going to worry about that. I didn't give you any of those on your assignment. So that is it for multiplying rational expressions. I'll do a different video for dividing.